Yo, what up? It's your boy Dirtbag here. Another chill session, cringe cast. Alright, so excuse me if you can't hear me or not, I can't really tell. But today I just want to review the book that I just recently finished reading. So yeah, I mean, pretty much my entire life I neglected reading. I always thought it was like cool or something, but for me, I never just sat down and read. But last year, it wasn't really my New Year resolution, but it was my personal resolution to start reading. So 2018, I read a good amount of books, and since then I've been trying to read regularly. So in the midst of me getting back into reading, looking for new books and authors, my one buddy just recommended me this one author named Haruki Murakami. Now, also before I plan on like doing a little bit of research and planning this cringe cast out, but I figured fuck it, man, just go with the flow. I'm not that kind of guy. I just gotta freestyle everything, freestyle. But anyway, my friend introduced me to Haruki Murakami. You can see his name here. And so, you know, I was about 12 books deep at the time he told me about him, and that guy rocketed off as one of my favorite authors. I've already read about, I don't know, 5 or 6 of his books. And then the same buddy gave me this, one of his latest books as a gift for the holidays. And so this is the book I just finished reading, and I would love to review for all my fans out there in Cringecast. Which I know there's, one view. It's okay, man. I enjoy watching this shit myself. It makes me think like, whoa, that happened at one point? That I did something cringy, put it on the internet for others to potentially see? I mean, knock on wood for that. Pat on my back. Alright, anyway. The book is Killing Commendatore. Now that's one thing, I never knew how to pronounce that word. Maybe you guys can help me out. I don't know if it's Commendatore. I honestly not sure. But that's the book, and it's by her. I'll show you the cover so you can judge it before I tell you. The back, the spine, and you can take the jacket off. There's my bookmark. And you take the jacket off. This is what the looks pretty dope. Show you what some of the text looks like. Now that I'm doing this, I'm realizing it would have been cool to map off some passages ahead of time and, you know, read some of my favorite quotes or something, but basically I'll just give you a quick review, and then, you know, if you want to read it, you can do that in your own time. And maybe I'll just find a random, because the book is just so lit that all of it is good quality and all of it is entertaining and interesting, so I don't know, you know, I could just pick any random passage and it might intrigue you to grab this book off the shelf and give it a read. But anyway, essentially, the premise of the book is about a painter who paints portraits. He's an artist, and I don't know, it's hard to describe because a lot happens, but the general plot is that this artist eventually breaks up with his wife. He goes on, you know, she wants to separate, so they separate. He goes on a little journey, doesn't really have a place to live. His father, or his friend, has a father who's a famous author of Japan. By the way, you know, the book takes place in Japan, as most of his books do, and but they're translated into English, which is gotta be thankful for that. So anyway, his friend father is a famous painter, but now he's very old and he's in the nursing home. So the friend is like, I have this whole big, beautiful house on a mountain. No one's really living there. You need a place to stay. Go right ahead. So the friend takes him up on that. He chills there. Gets a job as a local like teacher, a couple nights a week, teaching art to some students and adult students as well. And he notices across the way a big old mansion and you know, a beautiful, nice house. And the resident of that mansion eventually makes his way over and introduces him, you know, as his neighbor and stuff. And yeah, I guess I just don't really know how far I should tell you or what I should tell you. But that's the basic premise. And then it turns out that these aren't real spoilers, but it turns out that at one point in that neighbor who owns that rich, beautiful mansion, and he just dresses all dapper and he's like very, just like a well-organized man, and you find out he's like a tech kind of executive, retired person with loads of wealth. So it turns out at one point in his life he sort of had like a one-night stand or something along those lines with a woman, and you know, then never saw her again, but knew that the woman might have been pregnant, had a kid. So it turns out that he believes that his daughter is a student in the class that the artist who's living in a friend's mansion is teaching at. So he kind of, you know, befriends him in a way and tries to enlist him into trying to get to the bottom of that. So that's basically the general plot. Then after that, you know, it gets very trippy, you could say, very surreal. A lot of trippy things happen. It's kind of mysterious. So yeah, I don't know. I'm losing my train of thought. This is, you know, this isn't my best cringe cast, but I love that book a lot. It's really a great read. And so yeah, basically after that, I don't know, so much shit happens, but the guy living in the house finds a painting upstairs, and the painting ends up being called, you guessed it, Killing Commendatore, which is, you know, the title of the book. So he finds this hidden painting that he doesn't believe anyone else ever saw, and what happens in a way, like the character, the Commendatore himself actually, from the painting, ends up, you know, communicating spiritually in a way with this artist gentleman who's the protagonist of the story. And I don't know, a lot of crazy stuff unravels, a lot of trippy things. I don't know the proper literary terms. Allegory. Let me look up, what the hell is allegory? Let me look it up. Yeah, so allegory, yeah, it's a story, poem, picture can be interpreted to reveal a hidden meaning, typically a moral or political one. So yeah, tons of allegory in this story, tons of like surrealism. Let's look up, what is surrealism exactly? Creative potential of the unconscious mind. Yes, there's tons of surrealism, tons of allegory, and lots of interesting full characters, very descriptive, and they're all unique in their own way, and they have an interesting way of meshing and interacting. Yeah. So overall, I found the book great. I mean, I'm not spoiling at all, but for me, the ending was a little like, I mean, it's hard to end stories. I just don't know. A lot of stories I've read, the ending is like, what the fuck? Like, it kind of like cliffhanger. Not really a cliffhanger in the way you think, but cliffhanger in like the feeling of that. But either way, the story was so filling and fulfilling, and like had so much gusto, and like I don't know, it was just a great book. So 11 out of 10, 100%. Like that book was awesome. I'm glad I got the opportunity to read it. I'll have to reread it again. I might even do another cringe cast on it if I actually take time to thoroughly go through it. But I'm lazy, yo. I'm dirtbag, That's what I do. Alright, so I'm just gonna open up, find some random passage, and I'll read it. It might not be that great, but it could be. Let's see. I'm just gonna read some complete random. Late afternoon came on, and with it the early autumn twilight. The sky turned dark in the twinkling of an eye. The glossy black crows squawking their way across the valley, heading for their roosts. I went out on the terrace, leaned against the railing, and gazed over at Menshiki's house across the way. Several mercury lights were on in his garden, the whiteness of the house rising up in the dusk. I pictured Menshiki out there every night, searching through his high-powered binoculars for Mari Akikawawa. All the names are Japanese names, so I could take the time to learn it, but anyway. He purchased the White House almost by force for the sole purpose of doing that. Spent a huge amount of money, made a great deal of effort for an overly large house that didn't suit his taste. Okay, so whether you paid attention to the rest, that could have or could have not revealed some shit about the story. But anyway, I don't know. That was completely random. Actually, you know what? Fuck it. I'll read one more. I didn't unwrap the painting right away. I left a brown package propped up against the wall in the studio for several days, and I sat on the floor gazing vaguely at it. It was hard for me to decide whether I should unwrap it or not. I mean, it belonged to somebody else, and whatever positive spin you might try to put on it, I didn't have the right to unwrap it. If I wanted to, at least I should get permission from his son. I'm not sure why, but I didn't feel like letting his son know the painting existed. I feel like it was something personal, just between me and Tomohiko Amada. I can't explain why, but that's how I felt. So yeah, I mean, I don't know. It's totally random. I know it has no context, but that's just a little gist of it. And yeah, this is another cringe cast. Read that book, read all his books. I'm about to go hit up the library, pick up another one of his books, put it on hold for myself. Because, I'll find something to read in the meantime in between it, but I've got to keep rolling with this guy because this whole discography, do you use the same word, as for music? I don't know. His what would you call it? His library, I guess, whatever you want to call it, is lit. One of the books was a little boring, but it was still pretty good and it had trippy qualities to it. But it was still a good, cool read. But overall, yeah, all his books are dope. Alright. I don't know. In the description, I guess I could write all the information, like his name and the name of the book the right way and stuff like that. Alright, cringe cast, yo. Keep reading, man. Reading is the power of the brain. Like it helps nourish your brain, and I neglected that for a while, so that could explain a few things about why my brain is so lacking. But now I'm picking up No Time Like the Present. So grab your. It doesn't even have to be this book at all. Any book, read something, And reading on the screen is cool. I mean, you do learn stuff, but something cool about a book, it just makes you feel good holding it, turning the pages, the odor. It invigorates all the senses. Something about putting the phone or the technology, laptop, putting that aside and just viewing a book natural. Sometimes I go by the lake and read and just chill and read a couple chapters, look at the beautiful view, hear a bird or two, Alright, I'm definitely, dragging this on, but anyway, cringe cast. I'm glad you guys checked this out, if anybody did. Yeah. Keep it on, keep reading. Reading is life.